Your winter arc starts today. Not tomorrow, not next week, not on January the 1st, today. Have you given up on your goals already? If so, this video is for you because I will convince you how you can change your beliefs that you are too late and that you are already behind and there is no way you'll manage to meet your goals by the end of the year. I will convince you otherwise. This period of winter arc described as an era where you are supposed to get isolated and achieve your goals can feel a bit intimidating, and many people go straight in without thinking about how to approach it the right way. And today I want to share with you my 5-step framework, how I think about winter arc, to not look at it as some hustling period where you just have to focus on your goal and be so stressed about it that okay, now you have 6 weeks left and you need to achieve it, to something that's more enjoyable and something that will last longer, and you'll see the results of your effort even after the winter arc finishes. The main idea how I think about winter arc is that winter arc is supposed to just set you up for success in the next year rather than being a little goal in itself that will get you stuck rather than move you forward. What I mean by this is that if you focus too much on just the winter arc and not think about how you can prep yourself for the best year ever next year, it's gonna result in a burnout and you will slow down your progress. I do not think about winter arc as something with strict deadlines, and if I do not meet them, I failed in a way. Instead, I try to think of winter arc as a starting line that's gonna prep me for my next year, so I build habits that are strong, and it's gonna be easier to start January smoothly rather than starting from scratch with, again, blank sheet of paper, dropping some goals down, vague, very beautiful, dreamy, but without actual plan. Winter arc will allow you to get into the right lane. So by the time January starts, you'll already be on a good trajectory for your goals. But it doesn't mean that when you start winter arc now and you finish in 6 weeks or end of January or whenever you set your winter arc will go to, then after this period your life will be magically different. No, you're setting yourself up smoothly for a behavioral change, for change of your lifestyle, for change of your personality. That takes time. So in 6 weeks you can't expect from yourself that you're suddenly gonna become the superhero as social media is depicting for you. That's not what we are gonna do. We'll instead build habits that will carry us forward to the next year. So let's start with the first step of my framework, and that's asking yourself, what's in my hands? If you instead start having conversations with yourself on a note of, oh, the language course has already started, it's too late to start doing research for my book, I can't really start exercising at the end of the year, I need to wait for January the 1st, then you already lost the battle. The only way how you can get out of this is to reframe it and look at it from your perspective. What I can do to become this version of myself that I really want to become. What steps can I take? What do I have in my hands? Not external things, and external things is also time. Time is an external thing. The way how I decide to use the time and how I choose to spend it is something internal to me. So I can say, okay, language course, sign up finished, the course is already going, how am I gonna learn French by the end of the year? Okay, so probably I won't learn French by the end of the year, but I can wake up 5 minutes earlier and go through this vocabulary app and learn 5 new words every day. Do the maths and you see how much your vocabulary will expand. That's a language learning example, but you can apply it to anything. Just by looking at it from perspective of what I can do rather than what I cannot do because of some other external constraint, you will completely change the perspective. You can make meaningful changes from your perspective that will fit your schedule, all your commitments, everything you have on your plate. You will change the narrative in your head from other things that are influencing your dream outcome to what I can do to get even a tiny step closer to my goals. The second step of this framework is to go from the mindset of perfection to the mindset of consistency. And this one is a life changer for me personally because I am a perfectionist. I've been struggling with this, and I know many of you are out there watching are perfectionists too and want to do our best, which is inherently a good thing to do, that we want to do our best. But when it comes to achieving goals, we need to reframe this from perfection to consistency, because it's consistency that will bring us the dream result, not the actual perfection. Because it's better to do something imperfectly for a longer period of time than do one thing perfectly and then don't do it ever again. This applies to any area of life. Let's say you want to work out and you tell yourself, we're going to wake up every day 6 a.m. and do the workout. But what happens if you wake up at 7? Does it mean you're not going to do the workout? No, you will do the workout up later. It's not a big deal. You'll just do it. You'll keep showing up every single day, regardless of your mood, because motivation is not always there. You will build discipline by doing consistent daily action. This requires this mental switch in your brain from perfection to consistency, and you'll realize that it's actually then not that difficult to get better, because you'll naturally become better only because you show up daily or regularly. It depends what you want to achieve. So the rule arising from this that I'm taking with me for this winter arc is that better done than perfect, which means I will show up even if it's imperfect. I will show up, do that 1% improvement towards my goal. Even if this means I might not achieve that specific result by the end of the year, I will get closer to that, and that's actually a success in itself. A really nice benefit arising from this is that by showing up for yourself every single day and seeing how you show up, so when you track it or you have an accountability buddy and you discuss it with someone, you see how you keep promises to yourself and how you build this unshakable confidence that cannot be influenced by other people's perceptions of you, their judgments or anything. It's just your inner satisfaction with yourself that you achieved what you wanted to achieve. You got closer to your dreams. Step number 3 is to beat your imposter syndrome for good. And what I mean by this is that you stop doubting your abilities to achieve whatever you set for yourself. And this is something that's always going to be nagging on our attention, because there is always this voice telling us that we are not doing something right. And this usually comes when you start moving somewhere, when you start getting closer to where you want to get, when you start seeing that you are getting out of your comfort zone, so it's getting tougher. And then this voice comes and starts questioning yourself. That's when you need to realize this on your winter arc journey, because sooner or later it will come and we will fight it, because you'll remember this video. When this voice will appear in your head, you'll just tell yourself that I'm on the right path and I'm doing my best, I'm consistently showing up, there is nothing that can get me out of the way. And at this point I would really like to mention that social media and this winter arc trend and all the perfect, fancy, greatly edited videos out there should be your inspiration, but should not dictate how your winter arc should look like, because it's a unique thing for you. And you shouldn't let other people's perfect routines that are edited and they're not always real distract you from your goals and what you want to achieve. That might look completely different than from what's out there, and that's absolutely fine, but you need to be mindful of that and realize that when this little voice will come and try to tell you that you're not doing well enough, you are doing enough, you're on the right track. If you keep showing up, that's already the success in itself. This should be a reminder, no matter what you see out there, no matter what this little voice tells you, you know your truth and you know where you're going. Another important element of my winter arc this year, I call it framework, but I think it's more like steps I follow now when I'm thinking about my goals and what I'm achieving this winter arc, is that you need to eliminate. And what you need to eliminate is all the other distracting goals that, okay, you might want to achieve, but because of the limited time, you want to achieve something meaningful. You want to pick one very specific goal on which you'll be working, and because you will dedicate time to achieving that goal, you will see some progress by the end of this period. Even though, as we discussed, it's not as important the time period rather than actual progress, by having something concrete and specific, you will be more likely to succeed. And also, when you look back at the end of the year, you will see that, okay, now I was working 6 weeks consistently on, let's say, working out, doing this program, and I could actually see I am stronger, I am better endurance, I am a better runner, whatever that might be. You see some progress because you dedicated your time and energy to that one specific thing rather than having scattered attention to 100 different goals. So what I decided to do this year is to focus on that one thing in my winter arc and adjust it in a way that, okay, all these other goals, I still want to make some progress on them, but I'm gonna achieve only this one if I dedicate amount of time needed to achieve that goal. And that means taking some time away from those other goals, because if I decided to do all 20 of them, the end of January will come and I will realize I have not made any progress. So for me, this elimination is really important if you want to see a result in your winter arc, that you will become very mindful of what that thing you want to achieve and you focus on that rather than 100 different things. Another important element of winter arc that's very tightly linked to the previous point is that you should implement just one thing at a time. If you decide to work out regularly, I'm drawing now this fitness examples because I've been very much into fitness this last couple of months. But you should not go to the extreme of trying too hard. When I'm watching these winter arc videos, I sometimes get a perception that people want to make the most out of the time left in the year, which means they're gonna hustle. But in the notion of building strong habits for setting yourself up for success for the next year, I think it's more important to implement gradual changes rather than doing something sudden and abrupt and then burning out after a while. What I mean by this is, with the fitness example, I don't think it's a good idea to do 2 hours of fitness in the morning, then go for a run, and then do a yoga session in the evening. I don't think it's manageable, and even if it's manageable, you will burn out very quickly, because it's impossible to keep going like this when you did nothing and then suddenly this is your goal for your winter arc and this is what you want to achieve. So rather than that, it's important for me personally to implement these changes gradually. So for me, a success now is if I exercise 6 times per week. But I didn't start with 6 times per week. I started with twice a week. So this is something that can be implemented into any area of life. But if we start with this super hard, difficult goal, even if it's just one goal, even if it's specific, even if we eliminated everything else, it can still feel so intimidating and we will not manage to keep going for long enough. It's very tempting if you're ambitious and you really want to do well, but it's important that you take that small change and you implement these small changes. When you run them as small experiments, how will you feel after you implement the change, and then act on that, you will achieve much better results in the long run, because you will see how you adopt things to your life, to your routines, step by step and one by one, rather than all at once, and then you will just crumble under the weight of just doing too much. Even though if it's for your good, for your goal, you can't keep going with this unreasonable and unrealistic expectations of yourself. I have a little bonus for you, and this bonus will completely change how you think about winter arc. The main idea is to achieve your goals. That's the overarching goal, right? But in order to achieve your goals, you need to use the power of your mind to get where you want to get before you even get that. What I mean by this is that you will already imagine yourself as the version of you that achieved that goal. That means, for example, that I imagine myself as an athlete, as a really fit person with the outcomes I want to achieve, with the strength I want to achieve. And that's how I come into every single workout I do. You can think of yourself as a fluent Japanese speaker. You have to think about yourself as the best cook. Whatever your goal is, you need to already approach every single day in the role of the version you want to become. This power of subconscious mind is so powerful, and I think we often underestimate its power. And not just its power, its ability to help us to get to our goals faster, because it will motivate us. When we are already in the role of being that person, sooner or later we will not see the difference in the way how the person we want to be thinks and how we think now. We need to approach the thinking of the person we want to be, and then all our goals are going to be achieved sooner or later. Then the timeline doesn't matter anymore, because you're already in the mental state of that person, in the successful mentality that will get to your goals. They will come inevitably. There is no way they will not come if you're already thinking like that person. This of course doesn't mean that with just dreaming and with just thinking we can achieve our goals. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that this is an important element that, if accompanied by the right action, based on the plan and with the framework and tips and elements I mentioned earlier, you have much higher chances to achieve your goals than if you think either negatively or you do not actively imagine yourself and projecting yourself with the traits you want to get to. So my main message for you today is to forget the calendar, forget the timeline, forget the winter arc hustle nonsense, and think about change of your attitude, change of your mindset, change of your priorities, change of your goals, and making them very easy to do consistently on a daily basis. Make them actionable, make them part of your daily routine so they do not feel like something draining but something energizing. And I'm telling you that by the end of this year you will be a different person. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so you will not miss my other videos. And I will see you next time. Bye!